It's always been tough this semester.
I'm doing this for the internet.
Absolutely. I appreciate Charles being able to come out today, and we'll get things rolling. Take it away.
All right. Okay. Well, we'll start out real fast, just looking at the radar here. Where the squall line makes it here while I'm talking, we'll end the talk and look out the windows. It'll be a lot more interesting than, yeah, so I know how to do this. So, all right. Let's start off. Oops, I should say 18, 3 or 8. But all right, so here's we're going to start out with a little bit of the talk on the 25th anniversary of the great blizzard of '93, which I happened to be about half a mile down College Avenue from here for the whole event, and brought my truck over and it stayed there for about 4 or 5 days before we could dig it out. And it was a pretty phenomenal event. If those who were lucky enough to be here in State College, you can imagine, you know, about 18, 19 hours of inch and a half, sometimes 2-inch snows an hour. It just never got close to turning over to sleet. It just stayed.
Were you here the year after?
No, it was my senior year. So I know. So at least I still got this one next year. So at least I was here for this one. Yeah, it was a great storm. It was a lot of fun to be here during it. And we all went to Stoney's across the street that night, and there was about 50 of us there. And I remember walking back, and the snow was over my knees that night. And it was
It's the bottom. It's the bottom one.
Okay. So, anyways, so we'll talk about it real quick. It's such a neat storm because as good as these nor'easters are this month, and we've had 3 pretty legitimate nor'easters, I still don't think anything compares to this storm. I mean, this was just even looking at the satellite photo back then. This was just a huge storm. It had its act together way early than most of these nor'easters do that we're seeing these days. It was down here, you know, in the Gulf Coast states. It was already rocking way early, and it got itself together with the slow. Took a perfect track for here in central Pennsylvania, but just the sheer size of this thing is something to marvel at. It really is one of the most amazing storms that we've gotten to see. I'm not taking anything away from the nor'easters because here in State College we've got 3 inches of snow this month, so it's not like we're sitting in the path of any of these, but they're just not big, and they're too far offshore, and they're certainly hitting, you know, New England good, but they're not big storms. So compared to this one, so that's the satellite loop. Looking at the Mold archives, while I was before I went back to State College that week, it was spring break here at Penn State. I was down here at home in Houston, and I remember these images on cable, watching on the Weather Channel, and I remember telling my parents, I think I'm going to leave a little early to go back to Penn State. I think there's going to be a big storm, and I think I'm going to try to outrun it. So I think I left on a Wednesday. I was going to stay till Friday.
You want to get in?
I want to get in it. Yeah, and I certainly, yeah, and, you know, so there was, what was great about the storm is it was very well forecast. You know, I know I was able to look at the Weather Channel. I didn't have a lot of other information back home. It wasn't like I had my smartphone or anything on my iPad on me. So the Weather Channel was, it hyped it up in a nice amount of hype. It wasn't over the top, but it was certainly talked about. And I figured I'd show some old graphics, and I know there's some nice graphics to talk about the snow maps, but these are the graphics that we made back then, or that we looked at. The Weather Channel had a nice summary where the heavy snow was, and here's a little bit different map. This was actually what was published in the Associated Press after the storm. A real nice summary with the track of a low. It took a great track for here in central Pennsylvania, track that we don't see too often right now, but it definitely gave us good snow. It's interesting to remember that Pittsburgh got, they say 23.6. I think some of the areas around Pittsburgh got even more than that. So it got a good part of the state with a pretty significant snowstorm. So each storm. So looking at the reforecast real quick, and I briefed on this, I think on the 20th anniversary, and I just figured a lot of new people here, well, maybe not, but some of the same things. The intention was to have, so the reforecast really did a good job of talking about the hype of this storm. You know, it was like 4 days before, and these are just snapshots here, but this is all centered on Saturday evening, Thursday, Sunday, which if I can remember right, that was like probably about the max of the storm. It was probably winding down a few hours later. I remember it snowing pretty hard most of the day on Saturday. But this is the last panel here is the latest run, probably the closest to where the low is going. But the day before, we had a good job. 2 days before the run, there was quite a bit more uncertainty in the track of the low on the GEFS run that night. But you can see it was further west. But
there's a funny thing about that.
Yeah.
You go to the publications, the old MRF.
Yeah.
Remember, it had the 0Z 10 run. It actually had the job of starting with West Virginia, and the GEFS reforecast in the same era, 20 odd years later.
That's amazing. Yeah, so there's quite a bit more uncertainty then, but even before then, though, you can see, you know, even a week out, the models, obviously there's a lot of uncertainty because it wasn't able to pinpoint a deep low anywhere, but you can see it had a general idea that there's going to be a storm to be watching that a week out. 850 temps show this as well, plenty cold, just a really nice cold storm. The 850 winds, strong easterly anomalies with that, and just a really great cold storm for most of Pennsylvania. The 1 inch QPF totals, again, the models, again, had a pretty good idea where the heavy precip was going. As it got closer, the models got wetter, and you can see as we got right into the heart of the storm, a large area where the models were calling for 2 inches of liquid out of that, which, you know, you put that all snow in the interior, and yeah, you're talking about a blizzard for a long amount of distance, and that's what ended up happening. So this month, we've had 3 nor'easters so far, and like I said, from those 3 nor'easters, I think we've had 3 inches of snow in the State College, and I don't even know if they were from the nor'easters, honestly, but we have continually watched these things go to our east. The first one happened on the 3rd. Now this was a pretty impactful storm here for our area, even though we didn't get any snow from it. It brought the cold front was noticeable. One of the stronger March cold fronts I remember. And the winds here were quite strong, and they got damaging once you got really eastward to Harrisburg and south. With I drove into the Philly area the day after. There were trees everywhere. The Friday night, this even though this is the blizzard in '93, and the surface contours are much tighter, but this was I think a damaging windstorm. And one of the things I'm trying to figure out why, because I'm a half meteorologist. If anybody has, but my guess is that we just had the high pressure that was coming in behind it was pretty exceptionally strong. You know, 1032 high coming pretty fast in behind. I think we had really, really strong pressure gradients and a very strong uniform flow aloft, which was able to mix some pretty strong winds down.
I wonder if they had wind damage in the southeast.
Yeah, that.
Because the good winds in the upper left panel in the stable cold air, and then in the 93 storm, but in that storm they were already in the cold air direction where the icing took itself down.
Right. Yep. So, yeah. So this storm will be known as wind to heavy. You know, the one thing you notice is how strong the high was to the west compared to any of the other nor'easters that we have here. This next one missed us. The low was actually the closest to us, but we really weren't able to get into much in the way of snow on this one. This is the one that gave New Jersey north of Philly northward a pretty big storm. I won't talk about the performance of the State College weather, because I'm partially guilty, but we did have a winter storm warning out for some of our area, and we did get, I think, a 5-6 inch total on far eastern Lancaster County, but really the snow had a hard time really moving into our area from the east. But it was close, and some of the runs were a little closer to land, and the day before the models actually had a westward jog that fooled a lot of us, and we thought maybe this thing was going to bring some impacts to our area, but it never really did. And then the one the other day, this was the furthest one offshore, I believe, and certainly brought a lot of snow to New England, and now it actually went further north from here. It brought a lot of snow up to Maine and the Maritimes as well, but nothing compares to the track 93 took for here in Pennsylvania. Just a perfect track. So that's a look down memory lane. Looking ahead here, we'll start talking about our weather from now on. For State College, our normal high is about 46. We've been well below that, but it's all catching up after the February we had. So since we are colder now than we were in February for the most part. Average lows still below freezing, 28. Last month at this time was about 37, 22. Next month, pretty exciting to think that our average highs 1 month from now will be 60 degrees. So we're on a pretty good trajectory of warming now. From mid-March to mid-April, we add a degree or so to our high every day, day and a half almost, or day and a half. So it's every 2 days, I should say. It's a good step forward we're going through the next month. Early is 80. I probably could delete this because we probably are. Did we hit 80 here in February or not? We got 78 or 77. 74. Okay. All right. Well, no, Harrisburg, I think, had an 82.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're close. It can happen this time of year. Well, be a record, but we're getting near that time. And we also had a -8 once in -9 in 1900. So that's about as low as we can go. And yes, we can still accumulate snow under the right conditions. And obviously, there's some talk about that next week. Looking back over the last month, it was a very wet February. These are the percent of normals. It's just about, well, actually the whole, or this is the departure from normal, and the whole area was, we had several inches above average for precip, and a lot of that fell as rain. Almost all of it fell as rain. Very wet month. And we're able to escape it without any major flooding in our area. The Pittsburgh area did have some pretty significant flooding. Point went underwater there, and had some pretty big flooding south of Pittsburgh. So that said, we moved into March, and all of a sudden we're starting to lay a snowpack down again. And so from a spring flooding outlook, just to hit on it, we don't have an exceptionally large amount of snow up there, but there is a couple inches of water in the snowpack in the headwaters of the Susquehanna River that will be melting in the next month. And if it all comes in one weekend and with a couple inches of rain, we'll probably have a pretty good surge of water come down the Susquehanna River. We warm up and it just happens on a slow 2-3 week time frame. It'll be a pretty gentle, freshet of water coming through the river. So we'll see how it all happens, but there's more to look at now than there was a few weeks ago from a snowpack point of view. And with the rain, our soils are rather saturated. We will see green up in a month, and that will help ease hydrology, some of the flood concerns. But until we have full green up, we got to keep an eye out for warm and wet systems. And I don't have anything really to talk about with that because I don't see that happening. But just show you a quick satellite right now where we're at. Still no sign of this squall coming through here yet.
It's almost here.
Oh, okay, well, it'll just be here quickly. So I'll talk slow enough so it'll end right when we can be done here. So anyways, here's the retreating upper level low. The trough axis is just about through us now with this impending frontal passage and trough coming through. Still some more cyclonic flow behind it though that's coming down through Michigan. And you'll see this is still dominating the eastern weather. So temperatures today, you can see the cold air still locked up here. This is, let's see, this is yesterday's max. This morning, the lows quite cold over the whole northern half of the country compared to normal. So if you look, you can see a lot up below normal across the country. So we know we're in a cool pattern right now. Let's see. Current temperatures. I like this plot off the map. You can kind of see currently where the cool air is. You'll see there's a pretty good warm up over the Midwest. Temperatures are quite a bit above average over there. And whether or not that air gets here is probably not so likely given the pattern, but we will see temperatures begin to get warm here this or milder this weekend. So, looking at the radar, there's this. See, there it is right there. We're tracking this feature, which is just about here. So we're going to see some snow picking up here in the next 15 minutes or so. So let's go to the forecast real quick. Looking at the latest HREF that came in this morning. I just have a simulated radar. You can see all the snow showers associated with this is Pennsylvania here. See that on there? The snow showers associated with this trough coming through. But you'll see by 3Z, overnight tonight they decrease, and even though the greens, these are probably just flurries at best, but you'll see during the day tomorrow a pretty significant decrease in smoke shower coverage as the trough is through here and our heights are beginning to rise. We're starting to bring a little bit more stable air in here. This system, this is where the HREF ends. It certainly looks promising for, wow, that's a pretty significant system headed our way. So don't get too excited yet, because if you look at, say, the SREF, they're all kind of similar, but I'll just pick this out to track what that system's doing. Let's go to east, and we'll go to probability of getting a 1/4 inch of precip. Zoom in on this a little bit. See that all right? So moving forward, there's that system that we have. It weakens, and actually the northwest flow continues just strong enough to keep that system to our south. So even though the HREF looks exciting, at this point, any weather systems coming at us this weekend should stay off to our south. So it looks like a pretty good weekend shaping up here, with temperatures becoming closer to average, closer to our mid-40s, maybe not there, but close. And then we'll want to look at storm on Tuesday, and I don't know if we have the 12Z. It is in, so well, it seems like every time we do these, we're looking at it all together for the first time. So let's see what we can find out. What am I looking at? GEFS. Oh, I don't have a parameter. That's why. It's not in. Okay, well, let's go look at the 60 real fast. Let's look at the, what's a good thing to look at here?
12-hour 10th of an inch.
12-hour 10th of an inch. Good call. So, come in a little bit. So here we go. Moving forward. There's the system on this weekend, goes to our south. We're high and dry here, and then we're going to see how this forms. And there's a pretty good chance of precip on the Tuesday, Monday night into Tuesday time frame. This is the system we're talking about that we'll have to watch to see how it comes. The model's looking. There's still a high amount of uncertainty on the temperature profile. Oops, I didn't need to do that. Let's put the 850 temperatures on, and we can at least get an idea of what the 850s look like. So we'll go back to GEFS 6Z. Let's do MARC. This is the Mid-Atlantic region. Then you'll see we want the one like this. So here it comes. Here's 12Z Tuesday. So this is, you can see, well, you can tell there's a lot of noise. The zero line is, the mean zero line is right to our south. So it's going to be a real close call for pre-type, PSIP type. Nothing, we don't have any temperature anomalies over us, but that's, it's going to be close. Obviously behind it, some more cold air coming in. But 850 temps are certainly cold. Let's, we'll just go to the plumes and kind of see what the plumes are calling for State College. So the SREF, like we talked about, you can see the squall here. With this, it's not going to bring a lot of QPF with it, but it will bring a temporary visibility reduction. Then we're dry. There's still a few outlier runs of the SREF that bring that system that's tracking to our south close enough to us to give us maybe an inch or so of snow. It looks like it'd be falling during the day though, so it would probably have a hard time sticking. And one warmer run brings some rain with it. But that's the SREF. Temperatures for the weekend for State College, you can see falling with this trough passage today. Quite chilly tomorrow before it starts to warm up again on Sunday and Monday. So trying to see what the GEFS plumes are showing. Let's go first to precip. And you can see what a difficult forecast we're going to have early next week. The the GEFS is typecasting a lot of snow and a lot of rain plumes. It's really, it's going to be a close call here at State College as to what happens. And certainly, this is no blizzard in '93, so we aren't going to. But we're going to be on, we're going to be on that danger line. So a matter of miles could mean the difference between getting a 1.52 QPF all as snow or 0.09 as snow. So I'm not going to.
Well, yeah.
So I'm not saying anything about it other than, hey, at least we have something to watch because this might very well be it. I mean, after March 20th, it's pretty late to get a heavy snowstorm around here. The climate's all, the odds are getting lower. So. Temperature-wise, just looking, you can see temperatures cold tomorrow behind this trough, milder up until Tuesday, where we have the uncertainty. System coming through on Tuesday, cold front behind it, 850s. Again, they're going to be right on the doorstep. There's still some colder runs, some warmer runs. So, I don't know. Anybody know what's going to happen Tuesday? Feel free to speak up.
I'll tell you on Wednesday.
Thank you. But we'll know from Rich on Wednesday. That's pretty much the weather. Nothing too exciting, but at least we have something to watch. Yeah, that's all we have is hope around here.
That's have we ever had.
Yeah, this winter, the last 3 really.
February was really warm.
Unbelievable.
Really wet too.
But it's a little bit tougher,
Waste of precipitation.
And December was the true waste.
Yeah.
We had a really great situation up then. I will say though, a month ago I was in Quebec City, and Rich, we had the forecast was about to warm up, and Rich emails me. He's like, the NAO is going to go negative at the end of the month, and in March we're going to get some storms. He was right. He just didn't get them here. You did. You called that like 3 weeks ahead of time. We learned in December a positive NAO with cold air doesn't really do much.
All right. Any questions for Charles? Let's give a round of applause. Yeah, thanks for coming out tonight. And next week we'll have Eric Piglat hosting the.
Oh, all right.
He'll be in town.
Another old classmate of mine.
All right.